Oh, Lord. Ah, Lord. Let me tell you all something. This book, I don't know why my alarm going off. Oh, I have a Zoom meeting to go to the archive, but we got finish up here. The work never done. A Republic in Constitutional Transition by Kenneth R. Lala. Every citizen interested in understanding politics in Trinidad and Tobago, decision making, moving forward, understanding the downfalls of our situation, why we are divided politically only, and why situations like this occur. You need to read this. I have read this book page to page 3 times. I could even recite certain pages by heart. Let me tell you, and leave these 2 brothers up there. Let me take you to a little bit to explain to you why we are in this position, that every time opposition parties take control, things like this have happened. First of all, Ashford Sinanan of the DLP back in approximately 1962 January, when they were having a consultation, when the PNM under Ellis Clark and Dr. Williams gave the country 38 days to read and comment on the Constitution, and then 5 minutes to contribute in the convention to discuss our Constitution. Ashford Sinanan said, "We are not going to listen to you, Mr. Clark. The whole trouble is that we are being dictated to all the time. That nonsense that you have prepared as a draft constitution, we don't want to hear it." Now, on a perusal of the draft constitution, it would seem that Ellis Clark was devoid of any vision or expertise for preparation of a constitution fitted to the configuration of a multiracial, multi-religious, and multicultural society which had been bitterly torn apart by racial tension and division fomented by Eric Williams. What was clear was that there seemed to have been little concern for the promotion of national unity and inclusiveness. Instead, Williams opted for the Westminster model, notorious for promoting the philosophy of the tyranny of the majority over the minority, and an electoral system of first past the post, which guarantees the winner takes all. In explaining the concept and philosophy of the draft constitution, Ellis Clark said, and I want you all to listen carefully, "The system which I have proposed," meaning Ellis Clark, "in the draft constitution accords exactly to all that we have been trained to follow, and it seems quite inappropriate to me in presenting a draft to invent a new rule." So Ellis Clark refused to hear, listen, and see the unique nature of Trinidad and Tobago society, and chose to just transpose from Westminster in writing what we had been trained to follow. Now, what also took place after that, because Eric Williams hoodwinked Capideo and so on at Marlborough House, and there were very serious issues about the EBC, the gerrymandering of boundaries, the entire system that had been set up by Williams and by cohorts of Williams and supporters of Williams. What Williams told them when he lied was that we would deal with that. We will make the institution, the EBC, fair, and we will get correct boundaries. The opposition was saying, well, let the foreigners, let people who have no skin in the game make the boundaries. No. Just like Narcissus Scope now, they have to control the boundaries in order to gerrymander the election. So then 30 years came, and the PNM was in power unfettered. And the PNM group, the PNM supporters, the PNM put people in place in institutions, in the public service, promotions, so on. The PNM cult was well trained to keep the PNM machinery as a monolith, as a whole, as a one unit. So they sort of discipline where you could do a PNM anything. cuff them in the mouth, tell them this, take their wife, and they tell you, oh God, I love the PNM. It really, Rowley went with she, yes, I needed the help. I love that. Great is the PNM. The PNM had 30 years of training, implementation, and action on holding their nastiness and the corrupt machinery together. Simultaneously, opposition forces were also trained into the system, and their training included constant division, constant infighting, constant sellout, constant eat of food, constant infractions and interference from the PNM to ensure splits and chafes and breakups in the opposition for 30 years with no reward whatsoever, with never attaining power, and little ones fighting for the scraps of opposition, those who feel that they had some power in some constituency for some little crumbs. That's how the opposition has been trained, and that's what we see. So when we see now an opposition party, the PDP, come together, move and create hope in Tobago, we see immediately movements towards the generational training that would shatter and mash up and splinter an opposition party, and the PNM sitting back, waiting like a big slug to regain control of the systems and the halls of power that they were always gifted. To deal with this situation, to my brother Watson Duke, I am very sorry. I'm not in all your business. But your business, Tobago business, eventually is to lead Trinidad away from the PNM, away from all that we have been trained, away from the racial discrimination and the nastiness espoused by Dr. Williams, and now espoused and lived in policy by Rowley, by his open fire discrimination, by Junior Regrello, by Lazama Leasing, by Thomas Aye, the racist, divisive statements that have been engendered in our system. I have to say the truth. My brother Watson Duke, from all the facts that I've read, and I've read carefully and said nothing, Farley Augustine was correct in handling the situation as he did. There are systems in place. A government must be run properly through processes. And if a government undertook to give support, plane tickets to a group, and the group said that all the rest was seen about, one cannot use the plane tickets then go and hold a government or any institution to ransom, saying that you're there and you're starving and you can't see. That's not how it's done. No ministry or no authority has cash holding around. And if you start to allow people to do that, to just go ahead and extort and force your hand due to very hard circumstances, yes. But they were told that they were getting X amount of support. That's the responsibility of the organization. In this case, it's the THA. All the other costs are up to the organizers who said they would get those sponsors and so on. So it cannot fall on the backs of the chief secretary, as much as he would like to help. And he could try to help in many different ways. But secondly, my brother Watson Duke, you are on a team. This is your team. In fact, you say you're the leader of the team. So if there is an issue or a disagreement, to go live on a Facebook from out in the USA, to go to the world and to attack your teammates and so on in a vile manner like that is not team building. It's not problem solving. It's rather immature. So I'm really not impressed. And you are my boy. You know that since you took on that evil lady at the PSA since 2008 with me and sprang along, I fully support you. I like your passion. I think you would like to help people. But how you have handled this is not very good. And the PNM has trained all of us to do that. That's it. In the similar vein, you will see people in the UNC like Vasant and Devant And these ones who don't get what they want, they don't get a position, they're not a senator, they're not a minister, they're not an MP in a safe seat, they then come to destroy and divide because they were trained that way. We were trained that way since 1956. The PNM was trained to take pressure. LaHunt get fire, get spit out because he attacked Smallpin. LaHunt boiled down and went back licking Bamsi. Could I get a seat, please? That's how the PNM has trained their group. And they had 30 unfettered years and another 20 out of 36 years, 50 years of training by the PNM. The opposition has the same thing, and you fall into that category. So please, sit down as big men, stop this nonsense. It's embarrassing, and I'm a bit ashamed to see it